It's official. SGA slate Gaston Smith and Lindstrand have been inaugurated into office. A statement from the newly elected president, Joseph Gaston Smith.
A new unit was unveiled at IU Ball Memorial Hospital. What this means for future patients.
Plus, Spotify's CEO was on Capitol Hill today. Find out why.
And the family of Tyree Nichols is suing over his beaten death in January. We have the latest.
Some incredible weather we'll talk about going on through tomorrow, but I've got a season switcheroo on its way. All that and more in my full forecast coming up.
Delaware County's only live television newscast from Ball State University's Unified Media Newsroom. You're watching NewsLink Indiana.
Good evening. Thanks for being with us. I'm Alex Almanza.
And I'm Lily Kroon.
And new tonight, the Student Government Association has sworn in their new vice president and president.
Joseph Gaston Smith is now president, while incumbent Vice President Monet Lindstrand runs for a second term. Both ran against candidates Skylar Ellis and Taylor Perry. According to the Director of Student Life, the Gaston Smith-Lindstrand ticket received 68% of overall votes back in February. Some of the new administration's key policies have included campus safety and diversity and dining options.
I'm just excited to get to work. I've been waiting for this day for a while. I know Monet has as well, so I'm just excited to get to work and start all of the things that we ran on and get them accomplished.
In addition to today's inauguration, SGA swore in the new term senators. After 12 years, IU Health's North Tower renovation has been completed. The final project is the new mother-baby unit. This houses both labor delivery and mother-baby specialties. Prior to this, both teams worked on the same floor but in separate stations. Now there are 8 spacious labor delivery rooms, operating rooms that are equipped to handle C-section births, 17 postpartum rooms, and a separate nursery treatment room.
We've renovated the whole 4th floor here at Ball. And our labor and delivery unit and mother-baby postpartum unit used to be separate, and now they are together. People have come in that have delivered here previously, and they just rave about the new space. The color scheme is calm, soothing. They love that they have the privacy in the triage rooms, and they love that the teams are working together.
It's taken some getting used to, but it's also really nice to be with labor and delivery because I feel like we can communicate better and we can see what the different units are doing.
NewsLink Indiana was able to speak to other nurses in the board, and a majority stated their favorite thing about the new unit is being able to collaborate with their colleagues in the same area.
And a beautiful day today, and I'm not sure if we're going to see any of those warm temps. I'm not sure anymore.
Yeah, let's find out and pass it to weather.
Ryan?
Well, Lily and Alex, I gotta tell you, phenomenal temperatures outdoor. Even right now, 73 here in Muncie, 72 in Indy, 74 in Terre Haute. And looking at where we have been, wow, look at that big jump from 42 to 80 by the time we reach today. I've got another warm day ahead, but those days are numbered. I've got a season switcheroo, some thunderstorms involved. I'll time those out in my forecast. And frost or freeze, when are we expecting those cold temperatures? All that and more later on. Guys, back to you.
All right, thank you, Ryan. Now, authorities arrested 2 suspects in Saturday night's deadly rampage at a birthday party in a close-knit Alabama town. That shooting left 4 people dead, and dozens injured. Cole Higgins has the latest on the arrests plus the charges.
Police have arrested 2 teenagers in connection with a mass shooting at a Sweet 16 party in Dadeville, Alabama last weekend.
Officially arrested and charged Tyreek McCullough, 17 of Tuskegee, and Travis McCullough, 16, also of Tuskegee, with 4 counts of reckless murder each.
The suspects were arrested Tuesday evening, several long days after 4 people were killed and 32 others injured at the celebration, including 15 teens who suffered gunshot wounds. Among those killed was the birthday girl's older brother, who was a gifted college-bound athlete. District Attorney Mike Segrist says the 4 murder charges are just the tip of the iceberg, and more charges are pending.
Even though these are 16 and 17-year-olds, we will be charging them as adults in this.
A motive has not been released, and law enforcement is still asking people who know anything to come forward.
Somebody's got to start thinking about mom. We're tired of going to the mothers and having to tell them that these kids are not coming home.
I'm Cole Higgins reporting.
Today's detention hearing for the man accused of leaking classified information on social media has been canceled, but the U.S. Attorney's Office in Boston says the suspect, Jack Teixeira, is appearing in court to waive his right to a preliminary hearing. A judge is delaying arguments over Teixeira's detention at the request of both the prosecution and defense. They say defense attorneys need more time to prepare. Prosecutors are expected to argue Teixeira should remain behind bars while he waits trial. He's accused of posting sensitive information about Ukraine and other matters on a site called Discord. Teixeira has yet to enter a formal plea.
Well, Spotify's CEO was on Capitol Hill today. According to Spotify, Daniel Ek is meeting with lawmakers and members of the Biden administration in an effort to urge passage of the stalled Open App Markets Act. Now, Ek says the antitrust bill targeting Apple and Google would promote competition that benefits developers and customers. Now, it would let users install apps from many marketplaces, not just those in their stores. Now, Apple opposes the Open App Markets Act, saying that it would undermine privacy and security. Now, Google says its Android system already supports multiple app stores.
The family of Tyree Nichols is suing over his beating death in January. The $550 million lawsuit filed today alleges wrongful death. It names the city of Memphis, its police department, the officers involved, and others, and says the officers were, quote, unqualified, untrained, and unsupervised. It lists Nichols' mother, Ravlon Wells, as the plaintiff. Body camera video of the incident January 7th shows 5 police officers in the Memphis Scorpion unit kicking and punching Nichols during a traffic stop. The suit says the reasons Nichols was stopped in his car have never been substantiated. 29-year-old Nichols died in the hospital 3 days later. The officers involved now face criminal charges and their unit has been disbanded.
Well, the Supreme Court has temporarily extended access to an abortion drug. Today, Justice Samuel Alito moved to continue a temporary hold on a lower court ruling that would have imposed restrictions on access to an abortion drug. Now the move meant to give the justices more time to consider the issue. Alito oversees emergency disputes in the region where that lawsuit was filed. Now, this case challenges the Food and Drug Administration's approach to regulating mifepristone, a drug used to terminate pregnancies.
And the maker of a generic abortion pill sued the Biden administration today. GenBioPro alleges the Food and Drug Administration violated the Constitution's due process clause and other clause in how the agency has responded to recent court orders halting the approval of the generic version of the drug, mifepristone. GenBioPro is seeking a court order requiring the FDA to go through certain procedural steps laid out under federal law before declaring its mifepristone product unapproved. The company is also asking the court to bar the federal government from taking enforcement actions against the company before the FDA had gone through statutory process of withdrawing or suspending the drug. The new lawsuit sets up a third legal battlefront over access to abortion pills.
Well, coming up, find out how many Meta employees were handed pink slips today.
Plus, which conduct Twitter policy is no longer in place next.
I love you!
Prescription drug pricing points to corporate
Freedom of the press is about your right to know.
and Clark sheer athleticism.
It's about your right to be informed. Today, there are real threats to press freedom
Reaching residential areas?
and your right to know about the world around us. We must protect our right to know, no matter what kind of news is important to you. Before it's too late, understand the threats. ProtectPressFreedom.org.
The central and midwestern U.S. averages more than 850 tornadoes each year, and lately, the number of floods has been rising in the region too. So chances are, there will be more twisters and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are, you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Hey guys, it's me, Isabella Gomez, filling in for Smokey Bear because he's got more to say than just...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Like, if you're outside enjoying a barbecue, don't let a hamburger distract you from fire safety. Make sure you aren't dumping your hot coals or ashes onto the ground because that could start a wildfire. So take wildfire prevention seriously and let's save the world one day at a time. Juntos con Smokey Bear, podemos hacerlo. Go to smokeybear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Welcome back. Facebook's parent company Meta began yet another round of layoffs today. The latest cuts involve technical workers. Now, in March, CEO Mark Zuckerberg announced the company would cut an additional 10,000 employees in the coming months. Today's layoffs include employees in Meta's sustainability, well-being, user experience, newsfeed, and messaging teams. According to LinkedIn posts, this is the second round of significant job cuts at Meta. Now, in November, the company said it was eliminating 11,000 jobs.
One of the top online video platforms is changing how it deals with content related to eating disorders. YouTube announced Tuesday it is banning content that features behaviors that at-risk users could imitate. That includes extreme calorie counting or purging after eating. The ban is for videos that are not focused on recovery. For recovery-focused videos, YouTube will allow the content but restrict who can see it. The platform says only users who are logged into the site and are over the age of 18 will be able to view such videos.
Well, Twitter has removed a portion of its hateful conduct policy that included protections for transgender people.
Originally, the policy prohibited targeting others with repeated slurs that intended to degrade or reinforce harmful stereotypes about a protected category. It went on to say, quote, that includes targeted misgendering or dead naming of transgender individuals. Now, dead naming is defined as the act of referring to a transgender or non-binary person by their birth name. But according to archived versions of the page, that second part about transgender individuals was removed earlier this month. Twitter has not responded to a request for a comment.
Well, summer might be here visiting for a few days, but we're throwing a wrench into its plans. I'll tell you when in my full forecast coming up after the break.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kid knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Emotes say a lot, but they can't say it all. Think your guildmate is struggling? Try these dialogue options. Go beyond emotes. Check in with your guildmates at seizetheawkward.org.
Every day,
Millions of people are connecting
and even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
and banding together.
we should still make an effort
We should still make an effort.
to get to know each other.
on a deeper level.
Father,
Cosplayer,
Mentor.
actor.
it's time we take a step forward
It's time we take a step forward.
come together,
and discover
How accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
Welcome back. You're taking a live look at our weather cam over the Cooper Science Building, where temperatures were nice and warm today, but are they going to stick around? Those frigid temperatures just keep on sneaking up on us.
I agree, and I thought we left those temperatures back in the past.
Not
in the
really.
Winter. I guess not.
They're going to keep on going. So, Ryan, what are we seeing today as well as the rest of the week?
Oh, just like that spot before the break. Never gonna let you go. Winter just seems to want to try and say, oh, and another thing every time. But right now, very nice skies. We actually have a few thunderstorms, though, to talk about, making their way into northwestern Illinois, from northwestern, through northwestern Indiana, excuse me. And that's along a warm front that has caused phenomenal temperatures to be a big part of our evening. See, still at this hour, 73 in Muncie, 76, wow, in Shelbyville. And I gotta tell you, hitting 80 was wonderful earlier today. Still 20 degrees above what we were at this time yesterday. And that's a big relief considering we were at 42 on Monday. I gotta tell you, absolutely beautiful. 80, our high, just like I said. 66 is our average, so 14 degrees above that. I mean, I'm loving it. It does feel like summer. But, I mean, we're still about 8 degrees off our record, set back in the year Star Wars A New Hope premiered back in '77. But I gotta tell you, still very nice. 58, that's 8 degrees off of our normal high for this year. So putting that into context, thanks to those southerly winds gusting to 25 miles per hour and those nice conditions, clear skies, breezy conditions, we're going to have to watch those trash cans if it's pickup day in your neighborhood, 35 miles per hour. Those clear skies and that wind working in tandem to give us that 82. But folks, here we go. We got that weather maker to talk about. That little barnstormer of a storm right here, that river of air separating the cold and the warm, it's our jet stream, and you see how it's making that big old dip, and we'll expect a storm and a strong cold front to form there. And after that, that cold air has some staying power, at least over the weekend anyway. Timing out those showers and potential thunderstorms, we'll watch some stroll through the area, mainly through the midday point of our day. We've got our carnival to watch, so that opening might be helpful, but it could remain rather chilly. So, carnival forecast. We're starting off in the 50s, not really cooling down all that much, trying to work that chance of showers out of here, but the winds are light, so at least not too bad, but still chillier than the last year's. Then we work our way to the 7-day forecast, folks. We're looking at some pretty chilly weather over the weekend. 49 with a 32. I talked about frost and freeze alerts. We've got potential freeze in all the offing for Sunday night into Monday morning. But I gotta tell you, winter as it tries to not let us go, it lets its grip slip.
No, and it's
63.
It's kind of hard just to kind of decide if you want to keep the AC unit in or you want to take it out. It's that time of year. It really is. So yeah, no, and glad, thankfully, Saturday for Carnival, we're gonna see some okay temperatures.
Yeah, I agree. These temperatures are real nice for, especially finishing out the end of the school year. They get me motivated, but it's sad to see they won't last. But
Well,
all right, thank you, Ryan.
Thank you so much, Ryan. Well, we have the latest in sports. Ryan Siraki has the latest.
Thanks, Alex. One Ball State athlete has a true tall tale to tell, and men's volleyball fights for their season. All this and more next in sports.
Here's your sandwich, miss.
Oh, thank you.
And your burger.
Awesome, thank you.
And your bowl of boiling water, sir.
After retiring from the NFL, I've been able to spend a lot more time coaching my daughter's basketball teams. It's something I love to do. Through our games and our tournaments, we see all types of coaching, good and bad. And it begs the question, do we really know who's coaching our kids? Do they have the proper training and screening it would take for me to be comfortable with my daughters playing for that coach? Our Youth Basketball Association made the decision to use trusted coaches to screen and train all of our coaches. I'm a trusted coach. Are you?
So if one cat has 4 kittens who reproduce every 6 months, how many cats will there be in 5 years? Who's got it? Is this... What is that? Seriously? Who threw that?
Cats are terrible at math, but they sure do multiply. Please spay, neuter, and adopt.
The solution is 10.
Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Ryan Starocki with sports. Listen up, Colts fans. You have the chance to become a millionaire. Indianapolis Colts owner and CEO Jim Irsay announces his $1 million schedule challenge yesterday. The contest allows fans to submit a single entry to correctly predict the team's schedule next year. If a fan is able to select the correct matchups for each week of the Colts' 18-week season, including the bye week, they will receive $1 million. For your free entry, head to colts.com/win until the end of the day on April 30th. With Ball State baseball in the midst of another strong season, NewsLink Indiana's Brandon Beeman sits down with one of the athletes about his heightened advantage.
When you hear about a 7-foot Ball State athlete, I'm sure you would be shocked to know he's a baseball player. First Merchant Ballpark is home to Ball State junior Will Jacobson, a pitching machine for the Cardinals.
I didn't really play a ton in high school. I was still growing, struggled with command, so I didn't get too much playing opportunity, but I mean, that's sort of where I first fell in love with baseball.
After 1 year of club baseball at the University of Oregon, 2 years of baseball at Folsom Lake Junior College, it was time to move up to Ball State in Division I baseball.
Ball State's really good for pitching staff-wise, so I also want to be part of a good program like that. I love winning, so I mean, check marked every box for me.
Being a part of the small population of 7-foot left-handed pitchers, it brings on its own set of challenges and advantages.
It's a little tougher because, I mean, mechanics, I can, of course, do the same thing someone smaller than me does, but it might not affect me in the same way. So, like, it's a little different, but that's one thing I like about the pitching staff here is we have a lot of tall guys, so I can learn from them.
And this isn't the first time Jacobson has been asked about his height either. He gets that one all the time.
If I go into a grocery store, I'll get it like 3 to 5 times in there. If I go to like a baseball game, like in attendance, I'll get it maybe 10 times, like pretty insane.
And while he physically may be head and shoulders above everybody else, he and his teammates are all in the same headspace when it comes to the rest of the season.
I feel like we definitely have a good shot at winning this thing. We just need to regroup, pound the strike zone, and get hits in clutch situations.
With a little over a month left before the MAC tournament, Jacobson and the flock will look to continue their chase for back-to-back MAC championships. In Muncie, Brandon Beeman, NewsLink, Indiana.
To stick with height, Ball State men's volleyball are in the height of their postseason. After a 3-0 sweep of the 8-seeded Quincy Hawks last Saturday, the top-seeded Cardinals come into tonight's matchup winners of their last 7 straight matches. However, they were in for a tough fight with the 4-seeded Lewis Flyers. Lewis was the last school to knock off Ball State inside Worthen Arena. The winner of this semifinal will face off against the 3-seeded Ohio State Buckeyes, and as of right now, that matchup is over as Ball State wins in a 3-0 sweep. And finally, good news for Cardinals fans as standout gymnast Megan Teeter returns for her 5th year. Teeter led the Cardinals this past season to a 16-17 record and was one of 5 gymnasts to go to the NCAA Regional. Her performance on bars and floor will be crucial for the Cardinals next season, and I know that head coach Johanna Salim was smiling from ear to ear with the fact that Teeter walked into practice yesterday morning and still looked to repeat some successes they saw this past season.
Yeah, and especially some of the work that she's done throughout this past, throughout the past year, and some of the things that gymnastics in general throughout the past year keeping them alive. So.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be lucky to have her.
Definitely. Right, thank you so much, Ryan. And coming up, we got a slothy story that you don't want to miss.
Plus, a final look at weather.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kid knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Emotes say a lot, but they can't say it all. Think your guildmate is struggling? Try these dialogue options. Go beyond emotes. Check in with your guildmates at seizetheawkward.org.
Every day,
Millions of people are connecting
and even though we're overcoming obstacles,
Watching each other's backs,
and banding together.
we should still make an effort
We should still make an
to
effort.
get to know each other.
On a deeper level. Father,
Cosplayer,
mentor.
actor.
It's time we take a step forward
It's time we take a step forward.
come together.
and discover
How accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
Welcome back. Now get this, a sloth steals a rocket launch's thunder.
You could call it an already stellar interstellar view. Coming up in today's Take a Look at This.
According to the European Space Agency, a recent South American rocket launch was the culmination of decades of vision and ambition, pushing the boundaries of science in order to answer humankind's greatest... Wait a minute, was that a sloth? That was a sloth! What the world? Yep, a sloth, which happened to steal the show from ESA's historic JUICE rocket mission to Jupiter by appearing on a highlight reel leading up to the launch in French Guiana. The fuzzy photobomber only graced the screen for a few seconds before the moment of blastoff happened, but it was all anyone could talk about afterwards on social media. Heck, even the ESA agreed with claims the sloth was the real star of the show. The mammal's mammoth moment is a big one for the slow-moving species, whose star turns are no longer limited to nature videos and Disney movies. And that's got to put a smile on their furry faces. Anytime now. Let's move on. Speaking of rocket launches and photobombs, an already dazzling display of the northern lights over Alaska was kicked up a notch when a bizarre spiral in space graced the video feed. There's no real mystery here. Experts say the swirl was almost certainly an exhaust stream from a nearby SpaceX rocket launch. It also wasn't the first atmospheric phenomenon captured by the all-sky camera at the Poker Flat Research Range facility, but this high-flying highlight from an already stellar interstellar view was just too cool not to share. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Well, you know what? There's some days where you just feel like that sloth, and I just love that he was just looking around. Didn't even notice that he was just a big, giant rocket behind him.
I know, it's not every day that you see that for sure.
All right. Well, before we go, we're going to take one last look at weather, but before we do that, we'd like to say goodbye to two of our seniors who will be leaving at the end of this semester. Now, our digital content manager, Samantha Martin, joined NewsLink in the spring of 2021 as a member of our behind-the-scenes production team. Now, she's in charge of our digital content on the web, as well as all of our social media platforms. She's done an amazing job. Now, Samantha, we thank you so much for all your hard work these past 2 years. Our online presence has grown so much in your hands, and we can't wait to see what you do after graduation.
We're also bidding farewell to our assistant digital content manager, Zach Jones. Zach joined NewsLink Indiana in the fall of 2020 as an anchor and reporter. He took up the role of assistant digital content manager as a way to expand our promotional work on social media. Zach, thank you so much for all of your hard work as well. You've reinvented concepts at NLI that wouldn't have been possible without your creativity. We look forward to seeing your journey post-graduation.
Well, we look forward to this week, the rest of this week, sort of. We've got some colder temperatures and a little bit of rain. Ryan, what do you have for us?
Yeah. Well, as much as we don't want to say goodbye to these seniors, we're winding up having to say goodbye to the warmth too. Oh my gosh, those 40s and 50s over the weekend. But at least I have another warm day, 82 on Thursday. And you work through that 63 on Wednesday. That's all right, right?
Yeah, well, as long as you have that 82. All right, thanks so much. That's all tonight for NewsLink Indiana. Be sure to join us again tomorrow night at 9, streaming live on the NewsLink Indiana Facebook page.
And for news anytime, anywhere, go to ballstatedaily.com. Have a great night.